Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be doing a list writing video. Old World Builder hasn't updated the Slayer Keep thing yet, so I thought I'd go for the Slayer Keep first. Predominantly because there seems to be a bit of discussion around Slayers being able to be cast as your core options, as it were. So I just wanted to go through that first and foremost, as well as sort of give some options around Slayer Keep. And I think quite a lot of the comments on the dwarf video and on other dwarf videos I've seen are like, they've still not fixed them, have they? And I'm like, well, not directly, but like indirectly they might have. Like there's a few interesting options that give you like the ability to do something a bit weird with dwarves that you possibly wouldn't expect. So we're going to look at the Slayers first and see how this might work in terms of defeating your opponent. So we're going to start off with the first obvious choice, which is Hungry Mind Fist himself. He's 310 points. Let's do... Oh, poop. 2,000 minus Windows button, apparently. Let's do that just to give me a little tally of where we're up to and where we're remaining. I hope I've zoomed in enough so that people can actually see what I've written. Again, we're just using Excel because there's no old world builder. And what I need to do here is that. Oh dear. No, I don't need to do that. And then that. And then put that all the way down as well. Right, okay. So we've got Hungry Mind Fist. Let's deal with the core next, because you need to take Hungry Mind Fist in order to make it a... and it needs to be in a Royal Host list in order to make it... So let's have a look at what the rules actually say. So what they actually say is at least 25% of your army's points value must be spent on Royal Clan Warriors, Longbeards and Quarrelers. Okay? That's not... Now... So I think people are looking at it a bit overly grammatically. The people are going a bit too far into the linguistic turn in that, you know, there's no comma there. So this is Royal Clan Warriors, Longbeards and Quarrelers. So this isn't an inclusive and list. So there should be a comma there, which would make it Royal Clan Warriors, Longbeards and Quarrelers. And therefore, you know, if you're going really far into the linguistic turn, you've got to buy all three because at least 25% must be spent on all of them, 1, 2, and 3. You know, if you're really going to go that far, that's what you're reading the rules as. And I don't think anybody's really arguing that. What the rules for where's PowerPoint? Oh, it's there, idiot. What the rules for Ungrim actually say is 0 to 1 unit of Slayers per 1,000 points may be taken as core choice. I'll show you where else that exists as a rule. Actually, in Dwarves, well, sort of 0 to 1 unit of Rangers. So you see here, this is exactly the same wording, it's just this is a different bullet point. So what we're assuming is that the second bullet point there on the Slayer list would be this particular bullet point here, 0 to 1 unit of Slayers per. So we're allowed a unit of Slayers. In fact, we're allowed 2 units of Slayers in a 2k list. So let's fill out our core choice with Slayers. I mean, you might not want to. You might want to take some Royal Warriors instead. But if we're going for a Slayer Keep, let's stick to the Slayers. So here you have your Slayers. Yeah. So let's have 14 Slayers and 5 Giant Slayers. Oh, sorry, 5 Troll Slayers. I always got a bit confused as to why... Oh, no, hold on. No, yeah. Idiot boy. Giant Slayers are the upgrade. Giant Slayers. 14 Troll Slayers. Cool. So there's 14 of them. There's 5 of them. And these 14 cost... How much do they cost each? They cost 12 points each. Oh, poop. I didn't do that. Right, so that's that. And then these cost another 7 on... no, they don't. They cost 19 in total, don't they? So there we go. So that's them. Let's give plus 1 hand weapon. There is a problem with this formula. It's not a formula. So that's 19 at 1 point each. And then what else are we going to do with these? Where are we up to points wise? We've got this one is 16825. So we're actually already over points. We're fine there. Because we just need 2 units that are about 250 points, don't we? Standard runes, I think we should probably stick some standard runes on these just to make people think twice about charging them, really. So let's have a look at hesitation. Hesitation, they still get... so we want Rune of Confusion on this unit, 35-1. Yeah. Yeah, we don't need that. Cool. So that's 1 unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that and then slap that down there, and then we're going to have great weapons on this one and hesitation. So that's 45 points on that, and then great weapons cost 2 each, don't they? I think. Great weapons are 2 each, so these we need to put 2 points on. Right, so we've got up to 1,000 points. My goal now is for every single. So this is the maximum that your opponent can. In fact, I think those units are a bit expensive. I think I can get the price down, can't I? Yeah, I think I can get the price down because that equals to. I wonder if I've got too many troll slayers. If I go like 10, troll slayers. If I go like how many have I got? 10. Let's do 10. So that's 190, 215, 334. Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Oh God, my brain. It's not working this morning. 215, 2, 3, 4, 2. Yeah, that's about right, isn't it? So if we go down to 10 of these, because we really want to limit the amount of points we can give the opponent. That's the whole point of this list. So we're kind of minimizing that. Right, so then we go for special choices, and then we have a look at the Doom Seekers, because I think Doom Seekers become special. Yeah, Doom Seekers become special. Nice. And where are the Doom Seekers? There we are. So we have a Doom Seeker. They're 50 points each. Right, so we have a Doom Seeker, which is 50 points, and there's 1 of them. Right, and then they can have weapon runes of up to 50 points, but it's better actually than that, because they're in a royal host, so they can have weapon runes of up to 75 points, right? And basically these things, if they die, then effectively your opponent doesn't get victory points for them. So it doesn't matter whether they get their points back or not. What matters is that you make sure that they die. And they're actually relatively easy to kill. Toughness 4, 2 wounds, no armor. Like, you charge that into most units, or most units charge into it, and it will die. Even War Machine crew have got a plausible chance of killing it if they get to swing back. Now, it does have additional D3 charge. It does have, so you're possibly striking at initiative 6. You've got impact hits as well. D3 plus 1, strength 5, AP 1 impact hits is pretty good. So I think what we want to do with the Doom Seekers is to make them a bit more effective and to make them scary enough that people are going to actually like try and kill them, is we do need to make their stuff a bit better. Now, you could go down... Now, the problem that we have in terms of getting maximum value out of stuff is that Gromrule weapons have AP1. As soon as you put a rune on it, right, as soon as you put a rune on their weapons, then they lose AP1. So there is a rune of extra AP here, rune of cleaving, but the first one is basically wasted because you're just cancelling out Gromrule weapons. But we could take 3 of those and make their weapons AP2. So it's 45 points to make it AP2. I'm not a massive fan of that, to be honest. And remember, we've got 75 points to spare, so there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. You can't take... you can't take more than 1 master rune per army, as it were. So the rules on runes are you're only allowed 1 master rune per army. You're only allowed... oh, does that skip us something else? No, it doesn't, because none of these are master runes. It's brilliant. So you're only allowed 1 master rune per army. You're only allowed 1 master rune on any weapon. And you're only allowed up to 3 runes on a weapon. So you can have a master rune and 2 other runes, okay? I'm really tempted with the Master Rune of Swiftness on one of them. Have I got that right with runic items? No single, so you can't have more than 3. You can't have, rule of form. No 2 can be identical. Each Master Rune can only be chosen once per army. Damn it. Only runes marked with an asterisk can be duplicated. So there's some runes, like the Rune of Fire, for instance, that you can't... I mean, you wouldn't want to, but you know, the point is that you can't... the Rune of Parrying, for instance, that's another one that you might want to give like -2 to hit in combat. Pardon me. So what are we going to do? What was I thinking about the other day? We just want to make them scary, because we want to make them scary enough that people actually want to kill them. But we want to reserve the really scary stuff for the Demon Slayers, and we'll come on to those in a minute. But we need to spend as the maximum points possible on them, really. Do you know what? Let's go for... I don't think I want to do Master Runes. I think I want... because they're Strength 5 already, aren't they? I think, aren't they? Strength 5, yeah, and Weapon Skill 5. So what I want is... Rune of Fury. I think we want their 25 points each. I think we want 2 of those. I think we want Rune of, let's say, Might, which is 20 points, and we'll have 1 of those. And then we're allowed 1 of these runes, the tattoo runes. In fact, no, we're allowed 3 runic tattoos. We don't want Dishonored. Yeah, some characters may purchase these, cannot be duplicated on the same model, and no 2 characters can have the same combination. So we've got 3 Doom Seekers, so we've got to have essentially 4 runes that we cycle through that we think are quite good. So we can have a rune of Wrath as well, which gives it another attack of Wrath, and the Rune of Wrath costs 15 points, and there's 1 of those. We've got let's say Rune of Wrath, Rune of the Hateful, Rune of the Hateful, and that one's 30 points. And then let's finish it off with Rune of the Reckless. Let's go with that. Rune of the Reckless. Rune of the Reckless. 35, 1. Okay, so we've got a model here that's now 50, 100, 120, 135, 170, 200 points. 200 points for this Doom Seeker, and if it dies, it's got toughness 4 and 2 wounds. If it dies, you don't get victory points for it. I'm starting to see the limitations of this army, in that basically your character just kills all the things, just tables your army anyway, because you've got a load of super expensive stuff that's basically quite weak. It's not going to work, is it? Well, I don't know. Let's keep going to the end. Let's keep going to the end and see what we get to. But anyway, so we've got a Doom Seeker. I mean, I think maybe I'm loading too much into this strategy. I don't know. I'm having second thoughts now. I thought this was a really good idea, and now I'm actually writing it. It's like, I mean, I wrote a list the other day, and I thought, oh, this is great. Now today, not so confident, because like 200 points in something that. But your opponent doesn't want to kill it, and basically they can't. They can shoot it, but then that's 200 victory points they can't claim. Yeah, to be honest, I think it would be alright. It's psychological, isn't it? It's going to get to your opponent. So let's have another Doom Seeker, which is 50 points, and that's one of those. That's 50. Let's have all of that exactly the same, but we just need to change up a few bits here. So this one, we're going to have Rune of Striking, which gives him +1 weapon skill. And instead of Rune of the Hateful, we will have... let's have Warrior's Rune. Which is, what was that, 10 points, was it? Warrior's Rune, 10 points. So this one's basically got, so this one's got +3 attacks. They've both got +3 attacks because we've got 2 Runes of Fury and the Rune of Wrath. So the Rune of Wrath, was the Rune of Wrath? No, Rune of Wrath was, yeah, +1 attack. So we've essentially got +3 attacks on both of them, and then we swapped out the Rune of Striking. So the Rune of Might gave this one +1 strength. Rune of Striking gives this one +1 weapon skill. Rune of the Hateful means they re-roll all hits, so they get loads of attacks, re-rolling all hits, and then we're changing out other things. These no two characters can have the same combination. Yeah, so as long as we swap out the other one, no two characters have got the same combination. All right, cool. So we're doing all right so far for our Doom Seekers, and let's slap another one down. And instead of the Rune of Striking, let's have Rune of Speed. Let's make this one better at initiative. So it's +1 initiative, this one. And then let's go for... There's got to be a +1 initiative one here, hasn't there? No. Alright, let's go for Rune of Grit and give this one +1 toughness. So this one is toughness... how much was the Rune of Grit? 25. So this one's toughness 5. With 2 wounds and no save. Right, so we're already up to... so these have all cost... This one's 50, 100, 160, 75. 175 points for this. I'm not sure about Doom Seekers, actually. Like, because the other option, right? Because we do want a couple of Goblin Hewers, right? Because we've got 500 points to spend on rare. In fact, we might even want 3 Goblin Hewers. I'm not sure. Because a Goblin Hewer is effectively... like... points-wise, it's a large unit of Thunderers, an unreliable large unit of Thunderers, but it's basically a large unit of Thunderers. It's basically a unit of not large. It's basically a unit of around about 10 Thunderers. But an unreliable one. They either all shoot or they don't, basically, and it can't really move. So it's kind of a bit like a rubbish unit of 10 Thunderers. But hey. Which is why, coincidentally, I don't think it's... I mean, on reflection, I don't think it's very good, realistically. Well, I suppose it's got a 36-inch range, which makes it sort of slightly better in a certain sense. Anyway, let's build a Slayer of Legend. Let's go for a Demon Slayer, which is going to turn itself into a Doom Seeker. Demon Slayer. Diamond Slayer. 130 points, 1. Right. Now, this can take 2 of these runic tattoos. It can also take up to 100 points of weapon runes and up to 25 points of talisman runes. Now, because of the royal host, we can add 25 points to one of these. It's not both, it's one. So we can add 25, so we can have 50 points of talisman runes or 125 points of weapon runes. So that's pretty cool. What do we want to give it? We want to give this one the strikes first one, Master Rune of Swiftness. So we want to give it +1 hand. Actually, can we put hand weapon on great weapons? Okay, so we can't have +1 hand weapon. Okay. Of swiftness, which is 25 points. So we want one of those. And then what we also probably do want is, because we can give it hatred with the other thing. In fact, let's have a look at the runic tattoos first, because we want Rune of the Dishonors, because basically it gives a 3 at ward against its last wound being taken, and it has the same victory point thing as well. So that's pretty cool. And then we also want to give it... what do we want to give it? Rune of Wrath, probably? Rune of the Dishonored. Rune of the Dishonored. And Rune of Wrath. To give it +1 attack. And also to give it that, that thing. Yeah, 3+ ward against losing its last wound. Which is okay. Like, it could stick around for quite a bit longer than you'd anticipate because of that. So then also we've got some more stuff to give it. We don't want to make it too defensive because we do want it to die. So we've got Master Rune of Swiftness. It's going to strike first. Rune of... Oh no, we didn't want to do the Rune of Wrath, did we? We wanted to do the Rune of Hatred all. Rune of the Hateful. Rune of the Hateful. Rune of the Hateful. So Rune of the Hateful's 30 points. Nice. And then Rune of, let's say, Fury times 2. 25, 2 of those. So we've got Master Rune of Swiftness, Rune of Fury, which also is new. We've got Rune of Fury times 2 on everything. So Master Rune of Swiftness is different than what's been on all the other weapon runes. So we've got a really super killy Demon Slayer here, which, if it dies, you don't mind because, you kind of get your points back automatically. It's just got to die. So here we go. So there's the Demon Slayer. So this one, therefore, has 2 runes of Fury, so he's up to 6 attacks. He's re-rolling all hits at weapon skill 7, which is pretty good. He's always striking first, which is pretty good. He's got 3 wounds and toughness 5, which means basically he's got a 3 at ward against losing his last wound, so you can keep rolling that just one at a time. He's also got all the cool rules anyway, so he's got Slayer of Demons. 4+ wound is always a success, regardless of target's toughness. And if he's hitting Warp Spawned or Behemoth, it's got multiple wounds D3. So that's all pretty good. He's got no AP though, has he? That's the problem. That is a problem. Yeah, he's got AP 1, I guess, because he's got Gromwell weapons, has he? Yeah, so he's got AP 1. No, he hasn't, because we've put runes on it. Yeah, I don't like that. Plus great weapon. So that'll be 1, 3, 4. Right, let's do that. Let's swap out the Master Rune of Swiftness for something else, because that just makes him strike at normal initiative, because great weapons strike last, Master Rune of Swiftness strikes first. It just cancels it out, really. And we just need to put a Master Rune on it, because we've got like 50 points. Oh, we've got, 50/75 points to spare. Yeah, obviously, Alaric the Mad. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. So no armor saves, but ward and regen can be attempted as usual. That's pretty good. Or do we want the Master Rune of Dragon Slaying, which means 2-ups always wound? But then, yeah, there's a lot of 2-up save dragons actually, and I think Alaric the Mad will do more damage. So 4s to wound, but they get no armor save. Because the trade-off, right, is if you're up against like a High Elf Dragon who's got 2-up save, with possibly with rerolls, you if you've got a great weapon, you're -2 to save, so they've got a 4-up save. But with Dragon Slaying 2, so let's say you've got 3 hits both times. Let's do the math for 3 hits. Maths for 3 hits. Mathematics. So on a 4-up versus 2-up wound, your 4-up wound 2 will go through probably. 2-up wound 3 should go through statistically. I know it's not that simple. And then these 4-up wound, you've got no armor save, so they just go straight through. These have got a 4-up save, so they might save 2, so there's one net go through. So it's more or less evens, but I think, you know, essentially, especially if they've got like with reroll 1s, that could, you know, the 2-up isn't as good as the no armor save basically. Hence it being 10 points more. So cool. So we've got a Demon Slayer with great weapon, Master Rune of Mad, and then we can take some talisman runes as well. So we've basically got 50 points that we can spend here. What are we going to do? I'm tempted to take the runes, 2 runes of warding actually. 2 runes of warding and a rune of passage. I think that's the answer, isn't it? Because you can stick this guy in a unit of slayers as well. So he can go in a unit of slayers and then he gives them move through cover. So that makes them a bit more manoeuvrable and a bit more difficult to charge, because remember, your opponent gets victory points for killing the slayers. So he's got to charge them. But he doesn't get victory points for killing this guy. So he's got to charge them at some point in order to get the victory points. So you kind of do want to put this one in cover, don't you? Yeah, I think Rune of Warding. They're 20 points, and let's take 2 of those. And then Rune of Passage. Just to make sure he sticks alive for long enough that, you know. So how many points have we got to spare? 244. This is absolutely perfect. This is going bang on. So Goblin Hewer. 120 and 2 of those, and then we've got 4 points left, and I think we've got a relatively decent list. So basically what we've got is we've got an Ungrim that goes in 1 unit of Slayers, probably the one with great weapons, because he's got one. Well, he's got a great, but it's not. It's one of those great weapons that doesn't strike last. I think actually, I may be wrong. Yeah. It's got Monster Slayer as well, so that's pretty nasty. So we've got Ungrim. He goes in 1 in a unit of Troll Slayers. We've got this Demon Slayer that's nasty as hell. How much does this one cost? This one costs 130. Yeah, 159. 209, 239, 289, 329, 334. So this one costs 334. So actually, this Demon Slayer is more expensive than Ungrim. Anyway, Ungrim goes with the great weapons. This unit. This Demon Slayer goes with this unit. And we've got 3 Doom Seekers that just kind of... Because they're single characters, actually, you can hover them around the back of the Troll Slayer, so they can't be targeted by shooting immediately. So your opponent's really got to get to grips with the units of Slayers. And the Slayers are unbreakable. So, and I think having like 15, it'd be 16 in the block, wouldn't it? So you could... it'd be difficult to put them into marching column, wouldn't it? Because you'd need to have them with a frontage of 3. Yeah. It's just they're not quick enough. That's the problem, isn't it? That's the. You'd expect. I mean, why didn't they give Slayers movement 4? We could take a cart. I suppose that's one of the other considerations, is to take a cart. But actually, with having 2 goblin hewers, you've got enough like incentive to get people to come across the table to you, or to at least start working their way towards you to try and deal with the goblin hewers. Yeah, I don't know about them actually. I'm tempted to ditch them in favour of something else, like maybe a cart to give you guys a +1 move. Maybe even an anvil. Maybe an anvil's the option, because that would be another option, wouldn't it? Because an anvil, how much is an anvil? It is about 240 points, isn't it? 235, yeah, without runes. But then you get the rune of haste and urgency, so you can make a unit move again, which is pretty decent. Which means you got your dwarves, unless they're in marching column, they're going like 12 inches a turn. If you can put them in marching column, obviously, and if they got drilled, you can make a marching column move and then reform and before your second move. And so with a cart, you could basically get 20-inch move out of a drilled unit. So that's pretty good if you've got stuff like hammerers and stuff like that. But for slayers, they don't have drilled, so you can't you can't really do that. But I think having a cart around to make them a bit quicker. Maybe a couple of carts actually, because like with stand and shoot, because the other cart basically they can lob blasting charges at them, which would give them like a stand and shoot charge reaction. From any range. Love Earl Grey. Right. Tea is very important. Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about this. It's very characterful though, because everything in this army is a slayer, like everything, including the goblin hewer. Although I'm tempted to get rid of it in favour of a. And they are horrible models to put together, and I think maybe just one. I don't know, but essentially what we've done is we've limited the amount of points that your opponent can get to about 500 points for the slayers, so 800 and something there, and then like about 1,000 points. So the maximum victory point total your opponent's going to get is 1,000 points, as long as you make sure your Doom Seekers and this Demon Slayer are dead, because this Demon Slayer is worth 300 points, and these Doom Seekers are worth about 200 points each. So, that's about 900. Is that right? Let's just add all this up. Oops. Come on. There we go. So 879 points. So actually the maximum points that your opponent can get is one. It's not, because they can get the general bonus, which is 100 points, isn't it? So it's 1, 2, 1, 1. No, it's not. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 06, isn't it? Because we're 4 points short. So 1206 is the maximum victory points your opponent can get, as long as these units die. And again, you keep the Doom Seekers hiding behind. They get to charge in. They do impact hits. They've then got 2d3 plus probably 3 for most of them. So that's like 7 attacks at weapon skill 5, re-rolling hits. They're gonna do quite a bit of damage, and your opponent's gonna have to target them in order to stop them doing damage. Yeah, these always wound on a 4-up, so the strength 5 doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I don't know. I want to put it on the table and see what it looks like, but it's quite an expensive gamble. And I guess that's it with a Slayer host. You just got to really like your Slayers and really want them to succeed and do well. And if you really like your Slayers, maybe this sort of list is for you. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Is it? I mean, the other option really is to take out the Goblin Hewers and take another like Mega Demon Slayer, because we've got another 300 points spare in like the character slot, so we could take another Demon Slayer. Actually, maybe that's the option, isn't it? I've just thought you could just have one big brick of troll slayers. Like a kind of 300 Leonidas type thing. You've got to have a minimum of 3 units, haven't you? That's the problem, isn't it? You've got to have a minimum of 3 units, and characters don't count as units. Do war machines count as units? Am I getting short on that actually? Because that's another like. Hold on, let's see if I can find it. There we go. Bollocks. 3 non-character units. No, I'm in breach of this. This isn't a legal list. God damn it. Right. Yeah. So we're gonna have to drop one of these goblin hewers anyway, and then we need. Let's do the dwarf cart. So let's do a bugman's cart. 65 points. Bugman's cart. 65. So we can't do that one big brick. That's annoying. But we could make one of those bricks really, really cheap, and then take another expensive brick of slayers and load up the expensive brick of slayers with we've only got 59 points spare though. I mean, yeah. Right, I just need to be a bit careful. So core, let's do equals some this stuff there. Right, so where it was 5, 6, 7 at the moment. So what Slayer's minimum unit size is 10? Is it? Let's have a look at that. Sorry, I just keep looking at the pretty pictures of dwarves and going, oh, dwarves, I like dwarves. Idiot. Right, that's 5. So you can just take 5 troll slayers and call that a unit. Oh, no, but then we can't take the runes, can we? Oh, no, one's a master rune, isn't it? And one's... How many points can they have for on a banner? Slayers, so it's 75 points, isn't it? I think... Can we do that? Can we put both on... Oh, god damn it. It's 80 points. So we're 5 points over to put both on the same banner. But that does give me an idea. Because that one's Master Rune of Hesitation. That one's just the Rune of Confusion. Right, let's give it a go. Yeah, let's give it a go. Let's get rid of that. Delete that for now. And delete that for now. And okay, so we've got 10 Troll Slayers with great weapons. Okay, and that would be 10 of that. So that's 140 points, but they're a bit of chaff. Okay, so we've got 100 points. So we've got another 40 points of banner runes that we can put on it. So is there anything else really realistically that I want to put on the banner before we start filling out the unit? That's weapon runes. Where's the banner runes? There we go. How many did I say? 40. I've stuck with confusion. So basically they don't get their right. So the question here, so hesitation basically turns off lances and cavalry charge stuff. Cavalry charge weapons, but it doesn't turn off impact hits or anything like that. Oh no, it does count for it. No, it does count for impact hits, doesn't it? Yeah, for or using any special rules it may have. So impact hits are only, you can only use them on the charge, and impact hits are a special rule that only happen on the charge, so it can't use impact hits. So hesitation is probably better. So we got another 30 points. Do we want to give it fear? Probably not. Rune of battle. We don't care about winning rounds of combat because we're unbreakable. Yeah, we're gonna pass. We're immune psychology already. Vanguard's a bit useless. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It would be nice if I had 80 points so we could take Master Rune of Grunyi. That would be quite cool, but we don't. So no. That's a really good point, actually, because you can take a runesmith and give it the BSB. So do we take a runesmith with BSB and give it the Master Rune of Grunyi and put that character in this unit? Because then everybody would have a 5-up ward, which is, gives the Slayers a bit of survivability, but also. It's really tough, isn't it? Building a dwarf list, but then you're talking about, and then also it gives the unit flaming attacks on Armor Bane too. That's the other thing I'm thinking about, which is pretty cool, because that's what runesmiths do. I mean, do we just take a runesmith on their own anyway, just to stick it in the unit and give it that ability? I mean, maybe that's the thing that we do. And we can make sure the runesmith couldn't really be targeted by putting him in the second rank, because we could put too many characters in the front rank, so the characters outnumber the non-characters. So you have to push one back, possibly. Yeah, I think. What did I say? I want the Master Rune of Hesitation, don't I? Master Rune of Hesitation. Basically, to turn off impact hits. Right, cool. So we're up to 419. So how many Troll Slayers? What have we got remaining? 200 points. So how many Troll Slayers do we need? Or do we want more Giant Slayers? Giant Slayers have just got an extra attack, haven't they? So they go in the fighting rank, basically. These are for getting shot at. These are for dying in combat. Yeah, let's do another. Yeah, let's do 10 of each. In fact, let's do 9. Does 9 work? No, we've got to have 10. So we've got 500 points, basically. Cool. So these have all got +1 hand weapon, and that should be now 20. Nice, nice, nice. Cool, cool, cool. Is that right? Oh yeah, because I need to say 10 over here, don't I? So 10 Giant Slayers, 10 Troll Slayers. Ungrim goes in. Okay, so we've got this Mega Demon Slayer and Ungrim in this horrible unit of Slayers. We've got 3 Doom Seekers that kind of flaff around behind it. We've got Bugman's Cart that kind of gives it +1 move. We've got this other unit of 10 Troll Slayers, and then we've got a Goblin Hewer. And we've got 111 points spare. So actually, do you know what? We could afford, because actually, like 20, how many is going to be? 22. So that's like 7 times 3 + 1. So could we do, what if we went 4 frontage? We'd have 5 ranks, wouldn't we? So actually, it wouldn't take that many casualties before marching column with 4 frontage becomes fighting formation. So basically, just to try and explain, if you've got like 4 frontage and you've got 22 models, you're going to have 5 full ranks of 4 and then 2. So then basically, as soon as 7 have died, you back down to a 4x4, and therefore you can claim rank bonus. Actually, we don't care about claiming rank bonus because we're unbreakable. So it's actually, marching column for Slayers is not that much of a problem, is it? You just got to make sure the numbers work out, that you can do what you want to do, and you've got a decent frontage but a decent depth. So actually, they can go 12 inches now, because you've got a Bugman's Cart that gives them movement 3, marching column, they can like triple march, so we go 12 inches. That's pretty decent. And basically what you could do is put your entire army on a flank, and that would make it really difficult for the opponent to kind of bring all their forces to bear against you. So you could essentially first drop, stick your Troll Slayers down on one flank, stick the Goblin Hewer on like a hill near it, and possibly stick one of your Doom Seekers around there. And then stick this horrible unit on the other flank with the other couple of Goblin Seekers and the cart. And I'm starting to feel it all come together. Yeah, because then essentially your opponent's going to have to go after that flank because they get victory points over there. In fact, they get 140. They get 260 victory points for killing all that stuff that's over on that flank, and over on this flank they get the rest of their victory points. But we've limited the amount that they can take by 879. Can we afford another Slayer? I don't want to drop the Goblin Hewer because I think it's enough of an incentive to send an opponent. An opponent's going to have to send more than a single unit of cavalry to deal with those Slayers, because Slayers are pretty nasty, and you know if they don't take them seriously, they're going to get blended. Especially if you put like one of the Doom Seekers over there as well, because they know that even if they do charge the Slayers, they're probably not going to kill them all. They're going to get countercharged by the Doom Seeker, so they're going to have to do something about that Doom Seeker. So, and all of that is a lot of effort to get about 400 or 500 victory points. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's pretty good. We're getting closer to... It's weird, like this unit of this minimum 3 has made me really reconsider how to stick this army together. Right, so 70 points is for a Dragon Slayer, and it's 50 points for the Dishonored Rune, isn't it? So that's 120 points for that. Nah, it's not worth it, is it? I mean, well, or is it worth taking out a Doom Seeker and sticking another... Because essentially, we could take out a Doom Seeker and have another like mega Demon Slayer. Apart from the weapon runes, which one did we go for? Which was it? Rune of the Hateful is a talisman rune, isn't it? I think. Where's that? Hateful is a talisman rune. Yeah. So we could give it +1 toughness and make it toughness 6, which should just be a bit annoying. Yeah, make it toughness. Oh, I like that idea better actually. But I quite like the Doom Seekers. They're pretty cool. They're just nowhere near as survivable. That's the real downside. But I say downside. You don't want them to survive, but you do want them to like hit and do a bit of damage before they die. So maybe you put two Doom Seekers. Maybe you put 2 Doom Seekers over on the right flank, or wherever the flank is that you've got the Goblin Hewer because the other thing as well is they're going to have to send more than units because there's got a bloody Goblin Hewer there, which is going to keep shooting them. So they're just going to get like pelted in the face with axes all the way, and then guys, a toughie, isn't it? This, I think I'm getting close to a list that I like the look of though. How am I going to buy this though? We could get another Goblin Hewer if I could find 9 points somewhere. Rune of Passage, I definitely want that because I don't want to be -1 movement through terrain. I could take off a Rune of Wrath from one of these Doom Seekers because then we'd have Hateful and Grit. Troll Slayers have... Do they have Motley Horde? Do they have Motley Horde? Or Motley Crew, sorry. Which means they can have different weapons. Can I save points by that? Do they have Motley Crew? They do. Oh god damn it! Right, cool. That's worked that one out. Cool. So I can take 2 of these horrible things put together because we'll just take 5 great weapons. So the front rank basically have great weapons. or maybe the back rank, I don't know, and then we can take 2 of these. And then that's it. Points done. So we've got 2 Goblin Hewers. Yeah, they're going to have to dedicate significant resources to go over there to basically get about 300 or 400 victory points, which means then they're essentially running the risk of ignoring the flank where all the super killy stuff is. The problem is we're going to leave behind the Doom Seekers because essentially everything else is moving at like 12 inches. What move do carts have? That's another question, isn't it? Because can the carts actually keep up with the marching column? They got move 6. Any dwarf unit that's fleeing. This modifier is not cumulative. Okay, so that does affect itself. So it moves 7, so it can go 14, so it can keep up, definitely. Even if it just moved 6 and that didn't affect itself, then it could keep up. Yeah. Cool. Right. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy with this as an army. So let's see if I can actually go and like. Not sure whether the units will be on here, but like let's put it on a tabletop and see what it looks like. I think that's the last thing I like to do, if the thing will bloody work. It's not actually Warhol that's the problem. It's my internet. It's just playing up. Like I can connect to the router. It's just the router just decides to disconnect my PC from the internet every now and again, which is very annoying. It's like the router is gating the PC. It doesn't stop any other device. It's just my PC. So good-o. I don't care. T is important. New oh, for God's sake, it's not a bloody new device. Jesus H. This happens every time I try and log in. Oh, excellent. That mailbox. Yes, and verify your new device. Click this link. I have clicked the link. Device registered successfully. Right, let's go. New room. It's not public. Don't care. Right. I am so impatient. It is rather ridiculous how impatient I am. Right, let's create a battlefield. That'll do. Ah, cool. This will do exactly what it says. Right, so we need dwarves. Dwarves. Characters. Right, so we need Demon Slayer. Boom. There he is. Haha. We need sort of a king, because that's the king, so that can go like that. Oh, for God's sakes. Pardon me. Let's just have 3 of them, and then my Doom Seekers. Slayers are here for now. Let's what we're doing. We're doing 5 ranks 4 frontage, I think, because we're 22, something like that. Nice. So that goes in there, and like in the front rank, you douche. That goes in there too. Oh, why can't I separate him out? I'm not very good with this. What we're going to do, let's just use grudge throws as like proxies for now. Right, so over, oh no, we need another unit of slayers. Oh, arg. We need another unit of slayers. 2 ranks, 5 frontage, create that there. Right, so that can kind of, so these will eventually sort of go here. We've got, in fact, these will eventually sort of go here, so they're partially obscured by the terrain. That can go here, so nobody can see it through the terrain, but just so it's got a Actually, no, yeah, put it in heavy cover because it's -3 to hit by shooting. So cannons can target it, yeah. And then we'll stick these two like grudge throwers, not grudge throwers. There will be like goblin hewers up there, and then this can sort of go over. How far? Oh, how far is 12? It's probably up to about. Yeah, I've got that about right. That can go there. That can go there. That can go there like that. In fact, that could probably go there, but whatever. And then, oh, we need something to proxy the cart, don't we? Rare. Is there something that proxies the cart? Oh, I don't know. Let's put that there. Let's say that's the cart. Cool. And that's roughly what your army would look like. Something like that. Anyway. So essentially, you've got one of these things over here. You know, hiding in the woods. Putting stuff in woods actually works quite well in games because what often happens is your opponent forgets that you've put it there, so they can't actually physically see it. And if they can't physically see it, they forget it's there. So do stick things in woods, especially behind trees or buildings and things, because your opponent will forget that they're there. It's a pro tip. And then this can basically, you know, this can go 12 inches a turn. So we go 12 inches to about, what, there? And then there'd be a bit of a pivot, wouldn't there? So about there. This can go 8. So these are going to, like, fall behind quite quickly. I suppose the problem with doing the marching column thing is that this unit can't charge. So if your opponent then comes and... But I guess if he does then stick, like, a unit here, then these two can countercharge whilst this reforms into something useful. So I don't know how to do that in this. All I know how to do is that. Ah, there we go. So yeah, we could like reform like that next turn. And then you've got a 4-inch move. But basically, the only place that they get victory points is by killing this block, killing that, and killing these two. So the rest of it, you know, they're just damage counters, basically. They're sort of like fanatics, but not, because they can be targeted. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's a relatively decent list. I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to do a few of these videos over the next few days. So I'm going to go back to revisit my kind of theoretical dwarf list, which has got a bit of everything in. And see what the new stuff gives that list. I'll do an engineering guild list. I probably won't do like a standalone royal hold list because it doesn't really interest me, like taking a load of kings with loads of magic items and stuff and sticking them in super elite units. Predominantly because your opponent's just not going to charge them. Like, although it might be worthwhile as a thought experiment doing that, just sort of seeing what, you know, exactly how expensive could a small unit of hammerers get? Because, like, for instance, because you get plus 25 points for, I'm pretty sure it's yeah, you can get an extra 25 points on standards as well. So like, hammerers are like the best of the best, most elite, blah blah blah. They could take 100 points of standard runes, which is pretty cool. What about long rangers? So rangers, you can't take rangers in that. Dan, shut up. Longbeards you could take 75. Like, you know, and like I said, actually I said in the other video, the Royal Clan Warriors are a genuine upgrade on like Dwarf Warriors. And they can take 75 points of standard runes as well. So, you know, actually that's probably worthwhile having a look at, isn't it? Because hammerers with like the master rune of the 5 at ward thing. Actually, because what about the wording on that? Sorry, I've just thought of something. I get easily distracted. Armor, banners. In addition, whilst within 6 inches of the model carrying this standard, friendly units of a 6 at ward. Okay, so because the banner has to go in the middle of the unit, you'd have to have units really close together to get the 6-up shooting ward. But actually that might work in your favour if you just had like this sort of solid phalanx of dwarfs going forwards. Might work in your favour. And have an anvil to make a faster flank, so you kind of boom, 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 step up. Yeah, okay, so I've got an idea for a list for a royal house, so I probably will do that. But yeah, I think this is pretty effective-ish. The question is, like, how does your opponent, like, because the main reason about putting as many points as possible, or as reasonably possible, I mean, we could have got rid of these two and then just had more slayers in this brick. But then your opponent wouldn't have any incentive to come over here. They could just focus all their army on this part, and that would be a problem, because they would just burn it down. Like 2,000 points, even on the best, it's just going to get. It's just going. The thing is, though, that I think a lot of people are underestimating is that maybe I do want to put a Thane in there with Master Rune of whatever, because that would essentially wipe out these two. So you could get rid of the 2 Goblin Heroes, put a Thane in with the Master Rune of 5 at ward, and then your entire army would have to focus on this. And if they're shooting heavy, they could probably deal with it. But if they're not, if they're combat heavy, like if you came up against Chaos would have a really tough time against this. Really, really tough. Yeah. Because they'd have to charge it, and they're reliant on basically killing the fighting rank every turn, and they can't really do that because there's 3 characters, and they just don't have enough output to, even if it's like a Chosen of Khorne with like lances and shit, it's just not gonna. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty difficult prospect for a combat army. Ogres, I think, would perversely be okay because they've got all the impact hits, so they'd probably be all right. Troll Horde, I think would probably be alright as well, because they would get to reroll all their... There's weirdly not a lot in the dwarf roster that gives dwarfs magical attacks, which is a bit weird. Like runic weapons aren't magical, which is dumb, but whatever. So they would be rerolling their regen saves. However, the dwarves would be doing a lot of damage to them. So that would be a dice off. Against Empire, I think this would really struggle, because Empire would just target your war machines with their cannons to begin with to turn off your shooting if they're sensible, and then they'd use their small arms to basically whittle down these units, and they'd probably get, you'd be left with a few but I guess actually even just with a few Doom Seekers going into their units, you're still going to be mashing through them, and again you're unbreakable, so they've actually got to kill you, which means actually fighting you. So yeah, like if you imagine them charging a unit of demigriffs into this unit, I mean, they do all right, like first turn. They won't be able to use their lances, so because you've put Master Rune of Hesitation in there, but still, yeah. I guess this would do all right, because basically, as long as you got like 5 or 6 of them into like the Empire's gun line, you could just rip through it. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm reasonably happy with this. The hour is video minutes long, and yeah. Anyway, so if you've liked this content, I've managed not to yawn throughout the whole thing. I've had a few like health problems over the last few weeks, and yeah, part of that is lack of oxygen to the brain. So I just seem to have been like really ill all summer, either physically or like, well, obviously physically, but either like in terms of muscles or other stuff going wrong. I'm nearly 40 and my body's telling me I should be dead ages ago, I think. Nothing massively serious, just like a sort of a cascade of little things. I think it's mainly because like last year I had a super stressful year, like it was really, really bad, and I kind of had a year basically on survival mode, and nothing to do with well, it was all to do with work, but work was basically fine from a financial perspective, but it wasn't fine from a whole host of other perspectives. So, like, I had a year of basically just, surviving mentally. And then I think now that's all past and I'm sort of green pastures ahead, as it were. It's all the stress coming out of my body's like finally allowing itself to be a little bit broken. So yeah, I've had this whole sort of cascade of things. So apologies if I've not been 100% over the last few videos. But anyway, if you've so we've got to the end of the video. If you've liked the video, then there is a button for that. If you've got this far and you haven't yet subscribed, you probably might want to consider it. Not sure. In terms of plans for the channel, I've got basically when I get to about 1,000 subs. I've had a look at what Matey Boy, what's he called now, Close Order, has done, and he's like what I plan to do basically is when I get to 1,000 subs is sort out a proper website, and set up a proper website where people can essentially take money for their tournaments, so people can arrange events through that, and essentially be something that's better than Eventbrite, because Eventbrite I think is a horrendous format. So I want to do something, provide a service for people who want to arrange old world tournaments that's cheaper and better than Eventbrite. And I think that would be pretty good, really. I'm not clever enough to do something like Best Coast Pairings that would allow you to like collect data. But I would like to, when I do that, try and work with them to get like an integration or something, so people can like book the events and pay for stuff through my website. I can do that, like doing that kind of events website. That's not a problem. I've done that before. The tricky bit with that is getting it so people can log in as like a mini master user and set up their own events without interfering with other people's. That's the tricky bit, is like basically setting all the permissions, but that's not massively challenging. So yeah, that's my plan basically, is get that up and running, and then hopefully get an integration with Best Coast Pairings or New Recruit, whichever, don't care, so that essentially we can get data flowing backwards and forwards, and then I can do better meta videos, because the limitation I'm having with Best Coast Pairings is that I have to like ask ChatGPT to have a look at the event and then summarize it in a table for me, and it's not very good at doing that, despite the fact that ChatGPT is the best AI on the market at the moment. It's still not very good at taking like results from an event and like summarizing it nicely for me. So yeah. I'm not sure how the machines are going to take over the world when they can't just read a website and put it in a table. But we're very early doors with AI, aren't we? Well, he says that. I mean, AI, they started developing it about 20 years ago, didn't they? It was I think when ChatGPT, the first project, started, it was like early noughties. So it's been like, people say, oh, it's all sprung up overnight. It's like, it goddamn hasn't. Like it was early noughties when companies first started programming these things. Like when people look at the Boston Dynamics, the robot that runs around, and the dog robot and all the rest, and people are like, oh, it's just come out of nowhere. And it's like, no, they've been developing that since like the 80s or 90s or something. Like it's been a long, hard slog to get a thing that can actually just perambulate. It's taken them longer to build that robot than it takes to teach a human to walk. So like, I guess the argument is like when it's there, you can transfer that learning to any other robot. But like, and that's the thing that frustrates me about AI. Like, I want a robot to come and do my housework and chores, not do my job. Thanks. But they seem to have developed AI that can sort of maybe do your job not very well, but can do it for very cheap. But they've left you with doing the dishes. It's like, great, thanks, technology. You've done a cracking job there. Anyway, I'm now rattling on about social issues rather than... If anybody wants me to do a video rattling on about social issues, then that's what my sort of paint and whatever videos are supposed to be, isn't it? But Unfortunately, like I said, my internet keeps cutting out, so I can't really do these live videos at the moment. I need to get that fixed, but got other priorities. Anyway, I'm off next week. I'm going on holiday. I'm taking the kids away, so there may not be a meta video next week, but I shall. We're going on Monday morning, so if I'm suitably motivated on Tuesday, on Sunday evening, and all the results have been submitted and TOs have pressed, finalise event buttons and all that kind of stuff, then I can do a meta show possibly Sunday. So we can. There'll be something next week, and then hopefully, actually, over this weekend, I can do another few videos to go through other lists. So maybe I can get some content out next week. Maybe I can't. I don't know. Anyway, hopefully this has been useful. What do I need to do? I need to press stop recording. Toodle bip.